General Hospital spoilers for the episode set to air on February 4th, 2026, tease emotional confessions, dangerous plans, and major revelations that could change several storylines. From troubled relationships to legal tension and criminal secrets, Port Charles faces another intense day as truths come out and loyalties are put to the test. The episode continues key storylines, including Willow making a risky move involving Michael, Nathan being honest about his feelings, and Sunny uncovering new information connected to Sidwell. As characters face tough choices and unresolved conflicts, Wednesday's episode delivers drama that could impact families' friendships and power dynamics going forward. General Hospital spoilers for the episode set to air on February 4th, 2026. Lulu struggles with her feelings for Nathan. Lulu opens up to Laura about her lingering feelings for Nathan and admits the connection between them is strong, but real life keeps getting in the way. Lulu feels their situation is far too complicated, especially with Maxie's condition still unresolved. She worries that following her heart would only create more problems for everyone involved. Laura does not fully agree and feels the obstacles may not be as impossible as Lulu thinks. She gently reminds Lulu that life is uncertain and waiting forever may not be the right answer. Even so, Lulu remains torn, believing that Maxie's presence, no matter her condition, makes moving forward feel nearly impossible. Nathan confides in Nina. On the other side of town, Nathan opens up to Nina and admits his feelings for Lulu are real and have been there for a long time. He struggles with the fact that Lulu pulled away after their kiss and wonders if walking away completely might be the best option. The situation weighs heavily on him and makes him question if choosing happiness is worth the pain it could cause. Nina shares a more practical point of view and urges Nathan to focus on what he truly wants instead of letting fear and guilt guide his choices. Her words make Nathan stop and think and help him realize that avoiding hard decisions may not protect anyone in the end. Willow inches closer to a dangerous plan. Willow makes it clear to Michael that she has not fully agreed to anything yet, but she does agree to meet with him and their lawyers. The meeting opens the door to tense talks as both sides prepare for difficult choices that could shape their future and affect the conflict between them. As Rick and Alexis try to work through the complicated legal issues, it becomes obvious that reaching an agreement will not be easy. Even with these challenges, Willow quietly moves ahead with a bold plan that could change Michael's future in a big way and make the fallout from Drew's shooting even worse. Sunny uncovers unsettling new intel. Jason updates Sunny with important information he learned from Britt and confirms that Sidwell is the one who shot Professor Henry Dalton. Things become even more alarming when Jason reveals Sidwell's link to director Ross Cullum, who is using his WSB connections to protect the operation and silence anyone who gets too close. Since Sunny was warned earlier that the attempts on his life came from inside the WSB, suspicion quickly falls on Cullum. Sunny understands that every new detail brings him closer to breaking the system that is keeping Sidwell safe. Getting rid of this blackmail threat and freeing Laura becomes Sunny's main focus. Jocelyn digs deeper as Anna spirals. Jocelyn takes action on her own and starts looking into Cullum's past in hopes of finding proof of his involvement in recent events. As she digs deeper, she risks drawing the attention of powerful people who will do whatever it takes to keep their secrets hidden. At the same time, Anna begs Felicia to help her get out of the mental facility so she can stop Caesar Faison. Her fragile mental state keeps her locked in place as the trauma she has suffered continues to affect her thinking. Anna's condition remains a serious concern, and her future stays uncertain as trouble continues to grow around her. Lulu sat on the edge of the visitor bench, hands folded over each other as if the simple clasp could hold in every contradictory thought she had. The corridor smelled faintly of antiseptic and coffee, and from somewhere nearby a monitor chimed the steady, patient rhythm of a heart that would not be hurried. The room that held Maxie was a place between what was and what might have been. Pictures of better days. Maxie laughing in sunlight, children with frosting on their cheeks, lined the windowsill like small talismans. "Do you have to keep doing this to yourself?" Laura's voice was gentle but steady, the kind of voice that could both wield a gavel and hand out a tissue. She placed a thermos on the low table between them. Lulu shook her head. "It's not something I can order myself to stop feeling about, Mom. The way Nathan looks at me, it's the way he used to look at Maxie. It scares me. I feel guilty for even thinking about it because Maxie is—" She broke off, the words too jagged. Laura reached for Lulu's hand. "Love doesn't have a schedule, and it doesn't always behave in a way that makes sense. But it also doesn't ask you to hurt. You have to ask yourself what you can live with." Lulu closed her eyes. The image of Nathan, his jaw clenched after a long shift, the way he had hesitated the day they kissed, kept intruding. She had always admired his steadiness, his quiet moral backbone that made him a good cop. But Maxie was family. And in Port Charles, family was often less a comfort than a chain. "Maxie's here," Lulu whispered at last. "Even if she's not the same, that's what stops me." Laura's fingers squeezed. "Then be honest with yourself. And with him." Nathan had always prided himself on the controlled man he presented to the world. Arms crossed, opinions measured, a shield of professionalism. But he found himself staring at a mug of coffee gone cold in Nina's kitchen, as if the room could contain the turbulence that had been building up for months. "I didn't come here to play therapist," Nina said with a half-smile. She had a way of cutting to the marrow. She could be both warm and surgical, and Nathan respected that. He exhaled. "I need to get something off my chest, Nina. And I can't do it if I keep pretending it's not there." Nina sat back down. "All right, start talking." He told her about the kiss. About Lulu pulling away at the worst possible second. About the way his chest had felt like it might split open and then seal over with guilt. He told her how it had been this way for longer than he'd admit. Something simmering beneath the surface that grew louder whenever Lulu was near. "And your head?" Nina asked. "What's it saying?" Nathan's thumb rubbed an invisible groove into the mug. "That I love her. That I have loved her for a long time. That every time I see her with Maxie's fear in her eyes, I want to protect her, and also I'm terrified of what protecting her would mean." Nina breathed, pragmatic as ever. "You can't let guilt make decisions for you. Often the thing that's kindest in the long run is the thing that hurts the most in the short run. If you walk away to avoid pain, you might be protecting yourself, but you're also denying her the chance to choose." Nathan nodded slowly. The words sat like stones in his chest. Choose. He had always chosen what he thought was right for others. The question now is whether he had the courage to choose for himself. Willow's apartment was a study in calm engineering. Everything in its place, everything purposeful. Even her expression wore the air of someone who had rehearsed 100 futures and only now decided on the right one. The phone call with Michael's lawyer the day before had been icy, formal, careful, professional, each word a tiny sword. To the outside world, she appeared collected. Inside, there was a small, humming current of something colder, a plan. She told Michael she would meet. She consented to the bland neutralities of litigation, papers, mediations, lawyers present, because there is theater in law that can look like surrender while it prepares the stage for something far more decisive. Reardon had been steady on Michael's side, Alexis a merciless metronome of legal reasoning. Rick had tried to broker civility. Willow listened politely to the cease and desist language. She let them think they had her cornered. Then she moved. It was not a scream, not an outburst. There would be no melodramatic reveal in a corridor or behind courthouse doors. It was subtler, a whisper into the right ear, a favor called in from someone who owed her, a file that appeared at the right time. Willow's plan didn't aim to physically harm. It aimed to corner, to make decisions so consequential that Michael's choices would become irrevocable. She wanted custody leverage, sure. But deeper than that, she wanted Michael to feel the weight of his actions, especially the fallout from Drew's shooting, fold back toward him in a way that could not be easily managed with an attorney's brief. At night, Willow rehearsed the conversation she would have with Michael. She would be composed. She would be reasonable. She would offer him the meeting. And then she would let the law and the city's hunger for answers do the rest. It was dangerous. It was necessary. Willow, she told herself, and for the first time the resolve was not an act. You are protecting what matters. Sonny Corinthos moved through the city like a man with a map no one else could see. Where others saw coincidences, he saw patterns, threads connecting bodies, rooms, and whispered threats. When Jason came in with the news, Sonny felt the world tilt in a way he'd felt only a handful of times in his life. Sidwell, Jason said without preamble. He was the one who shot Professor Henry Dalton. Sonny's jaw tightened. Dalton had been a minor figure on the surface, a scholar, and yet his shooting had been meant to send a message. Jason's next words hit like stones. There's a link to Ross Cullum. He's using WSB connections to keep his operation clean. He protects people like Sidwell. He blackmails, he silences. He's a shadow inside a shadow. Sonny's mind went to Laura. The mention of a blackmail threat felt personal and immediate. If Cullum and Sidwell were working that angle, Laura's freedom might be the battleground. And Sonny had never been a man to stand by while the people he loved were used as pawns. We take the head off the snake, Sonny said. Cullum comes down, his protection goes away, and Sidwell's exposed. Jason's brows rose. You know how dangerous that is. Sonny only smiled, a hard practice thing. Danger is what I do. And so the work began. Sonny reached into his own web of contacts, the helpful, the corrupted, and the ones who owed him one too many favors. He wanted names, locations, and the slim, fragile paper trail that would tie Cullum to the WSB and to Sidwell's violence. Liberating Laura became more than an act of rescue. It became a promise to himself that he would blow apart any system built to hide monsters. Jocelyn felt the thrum of a story under her skin. News instincts are a particular kind of hunger, the need to fracture a mystery and expose the glinting machinery inside. When she tasted Cullum's name and saw the faint, toxic trail that led back through WSB whispers and guarded files, she could not, would not, let it go. She called sources, tapped into public records, and spent long nights chasing down leads that took her from polished conference rooms into back alleys of person-to-person memory. With each detail she pulled into the light, she felt someone watching, someone powerful who would rather not be remembered. But the truth had a way of being stubborn, and Jocelyn had stubbornness in equal measure. Meanwhile, Anna lay in a room that smelled of iron and sterile lights. Felicia's visits were regular and full of urgency, and Anna's pleas grew more erratic. She wanted out. She wanted to stop Caesar Phazon. The war with Phazon had always been more than a story. To Anna, it was a lifetime of ghosts clawing at her from behind locked doors. "You have to get me out, Felicia," Anna said one afternoon, hands trembling on the blanket. "I know what he's planning. I remember pieces. They make me think I'm—" Her eyes rolled with fear. "They make me think I'm losing myself." Felicia knelt on the floor and took Anna's hands. "We are trying everything," she said, voice low. "But we have to be careful. You're under observation because we need you well enough to give testimony when the time is right." Anna's laugh was a brittle thing. "When the time is right, lives will be over."